Um, I think it's just empowering people is my driving force. I'm not in it for the money. Of course, money is important, but I don't do it to get a bag or to get on a stage where everybody's looking at me. That would be nice, but that's not what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for the empowerment of somebody else.
Hey y'all, DFoss here. My goal with this Limitless Theory 360 podcast is to connect you with the very people that have positively impacted my life and will continue to impact thousands of others by providing education-based and actionable techniques to creating a limitless perspective on life. So my guest today is another fellow laser graduate, someone I met back in 2014, 2015. We've been well connected. We connected on the basketball court, connected in the classroom. He's someone that does a lot of positivity work on not just who you are, but what you do and your mindset, taking action, and not settling for less. That's something he talks about a lot, something that I really, really agree with. And we always have genuine conversation. We always have bomb workouts together when we get together and do that. But he is up in Stoughton, Mass, and he is working in the law field. He's a good dude, and I don't think you guys will dislike anything that he's coming out with. You got to make sure to check out his Instagram page, Stan Talks. He is the official mastermind behind that. So, Stan, what's good, bro? How you doing today?
Hey, man, I'm living well. How you doing?
Can't complain, man. You know, we was talking about it before. I went down to the beach. Ribs getting better, and I'm living my best life, trying to.
Nah, yeah, for sure. Health is important. You know what I'm on right now. trying to get my body right as well.
It's summertime up there. I mean, it's here year round, but
yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, up in Mass is weird because it's like it'll really be only a few months where you really get to show off what you've been working with. The rest of the time it's cold or it's snowing or it's raining or it's hot one day, it's cold the next. So, you know, when summertime come around, it's fun. It's nice. I wish it was longer though, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel that. But that's why I moved down here is because everybody wants to be on 100% all year round because there's no hiding it. There's none of that. So the fitness and nutrition industry is huge down here, man.
It's huge down there, yeah, I would imagine. Probably Cali too. Cali's probably crazy.
Insane. But even then, it gets way colder there.
Yeah, I heard it'd be cold in Cali, but what's really cold? I mean, I'm from Mass.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nothing really.
Born and raised, that don't
colder than
feel like
this.
anything. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And like Mass compared to like Northern Vermont, that's not even. It doesn't even feel the same.
Feel nothing, yeah. It doesn't. It's not even the same conversation.
Nah, like we had plenty of people at school walking around in shorts during the middle of the winter. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
Exactly.
It's wild. So what's the latest and greatest, bro? What's new? What are you working on?
What I'm working on right now, we got the FreeGame podcast coming real soon. That's just a podcast where I chop it up with my friends about, you know, certain topics, whether it be politics, relationships. It ranges of anything, sports, our generation, what we going through as men, what's going on as far as the police force up in Mass, you know, a variety of topics. And then, you know, I'm also starting like a series of videos where I'm getting questioned about my topics and what I bring forth with Stan Talks. I don't know if you follow Prince O'Donnell on IG, but kind of like his videos, where it's like a minute or a minute and a half blurb of just me talking about a particular thing, whether it be love, whether it be, you know, what it means to be in a relationship, what it means to motivate, what motivate means to me, what motivation means to me, a variety of topics, you know.
Have you checked out Jay Shetty? You familiar with Jay Shetty?
No, I'm not familiar with Jay Shetty.
Yo, you got to dive into his world, man. He's real deal. He was a monk for like 4 years.
Oh, really?
He was a monk for like 4 years, and now he came back
he's from London originally, went to train as a monk for years, and then came back and started like a media company, and he became massively famous through his videos about anything from mindset to love and compassion and making better choices, positivity, all of that stuff, all the stuff that we love. I just watched his video on Red Table Talk with.
Okay. Red Table Talk is a good platform.
Yo, I just got put onto that. I had never heard of it before. I didn't know anything about it. And then Mark hit me up and was like, "Yo, have you watched the Jay Shetty or the Kid Cudi video on Red Table Talk?" I watched both of those, and then I watched the one with Common. I was like, "Damn,
this is elite.
Where's Red Table Talk been hiding?"
Exactly. Yeah. It's a huge platform. Even Aisha Curry went on there and said something that not many people agreed with, but it is what it is. But that's a conversation for a different day. If y'all want to check out the Red Table Talk, do that.
So you're finna get into basically video blogs, or vlogs of just talking about specific topics and your mindset and your beliefs on them.
Exactly. And like my goal is just to get to 1,000 by the time the winter comes, like 1,000 followers on IG. Once I get to 1,000 followers on IG, I feel like I'll be able to have a YouTube page where people can subscribe to, because I want there to be some type of push behind the YouTube page. I don't just want to start a YouTube page and have like not that many followers where people aren't really subscribing. So I want to have like a certain amount of followers. And then with that certain amount of followers, I can start a YouTube page, and we'll start off with probably like a couple hundred subscribers, and then we'll move forward from there.
That's what's up.
So, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Aside from me just posting my daily messages on Stan Talks and touch somebody, I think the whole purpose of Stan Talks is just to touch one person that day. I don't really care about reaching masses of people like 3 million views. I don't really care, as long as it was one person that was affected by that day. Like, oh man, that got me through that day. Like, that's all I really care about.
What's funny too is it's so normal for people to understand something like Red Table Talk, right? And they're like, "Yo, that's such a good platform. I'm gonna go watch the video," and they like it, right? But how many of those people take what they learned through that video and actually apply it?
Exactly.
Because you can have 3 million likes on Instagram, but how many people take action on it? That's what I care about. Yeah. And that's why those numbers are completely misleading sometimes.
Yeah, definitely misleading, 100%.
Yeah, and if you can, like you said, impact one person to make them actually go take action on it, then you see a whole different change in the way of life, from your followers to you, and the energy that you feel from doing those videos, making that content. Yeah. That's where the real prize is, I think.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think, people are misconstrued. It's like you don't touch the world 10 million at a time. You touch it one at a time.
Yes.
That one person will tell somebody else that they know genuinely is interested, and then that's how things evolve. Like 3 million followers, 3 million views. How many people retain that information? It's not really about how many followers. It's about how influential you are. I mean, with influence, masses of people will move. Influence is what I think is the most important thing. I just want to influence somebody in a positive way, not a negative way. Like, I'm not out here posting pictures of random things that really have no base. Like, it's just like people on IG are so vain, like.
What I think the number one thing that's not talked about with influence is we have people watching us looking for guidance, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very easy to say something and hope that they take action on that in a positive way. Yeah. But what a lot of people don't consider impacting someone in a positive way or having positive influence on somebody It's something that you talk about a lot.
Yeah.
Stepping away from the people that aren't bringing positive influence to you.
No, that's the fact.
Because if you just let them continue to have that effect on you, or you let them continue to be vain in their thoughts, you are not helping them. You are just allowing them to continue on that path, and that gets nobody anywhere.
Where exactly? I would agree with that. Yeah, as far as just keeping the energy around you correct, like I told you, I was writing down a couple Bible verses before we even got on the call. Just like some at a young age, you're always like, oh man, I'm trying to be lit. I'm trying to have friends. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. But what you come to realize as you get older, you check your phone log or your contacts, and you're like, well, who can I call if I need an emergency? If I have an emergency, if I need something like right now, I guarantee you, if you have 300 contacts, there's less than 10% of people that you could call, like immediately that would be there for you. So what's the point of, like having all these people around you impacting you, whether it's negatively or positively, if it's not benefiting you?
Yeah.
I mean, there's positive beneficial things that occur, and then there's negative beneficial things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like if I want to go out and drink, like, that's not the most positive thing, but that could be fun for a certain type of person, going out and drinking and doing this and doing that. So I'll contact an acquaintance, somebody that I know, like when I want to party, okay, I'll hit this person up.
Yeah.
But when I want to do something serious, like when I want to be a part of a podcast, when I want to impact somebody positively, or when I want to do something serious, I'll hit this person. So you got to just kind of, in that list of people in your life, just kind of place them where they need to be. And then that way there's no strain when they do something funny or when they do something out of character or out of the ordinary. You're like, well, that person's just an acquaintance, so I didn't really put the title of friend on them. So that doesn't really bother me because I already know where they are. You know what I mean?
You don't have expectations for that person.
Yeah, I stopped placing expectations on people that I already understand aren't of that much value, aren't beneficial to me positively. Like, drinking is cool, whatever you want to do. I don't really judge. Drinking, smoking, whatever is cool for the time being, but is that beneficial to the longevity of things? No. That's why that person's an acquaintance, and acquaintances come and go. But not to veer off too far of what you were saying, just eliminating the negative energy around you and the people that aren't benefiting you, I think, is like the most important thing as you grow older,
Facts. And that's a point in life that we're at right now, is that like turning point. It's like almost like that fork in the road.
Yep.
And it's not to say that sends you down that path for life, because they always reconnect and rekindle, but that depends on your daily choices. And a lot of people our age are looking so forward to the fact, like, so many people our age are living for the weekend, right? And that means that 5 out of 7 days they are saying stuff like, I can't wait. I was having this conversation not too long ago. I can't wait. And that makes everything from this point that you said that until whatever you may be discussing or talking about, or you can't wait until, it makes all that in between mindless. It makes it useless to you. It doesn't have any impact. You don't go after it. You don't try to make the most of that. You don't see it as opportunity. You see it as, I just got to get through this.
Yeah.
And that's what leads to the difference between surviving and thriving. Right? It's like you see everything as an opportunity to grow, get better, make more positive influence, or you see everything as an opportunity to just suppress feelings, get through it, put your head down. And not to say that this isn't good and this isn't useful in some ways, right? We have those times in our life, but to make 5 out of 7 days of your life like that every week, where does your life end up when you're 40? And you get to 40 and 20 years went by like that, because you wasted 70% of your life saying, I can't wait. I can't wait to the weekend. I can't wait to the weekend. And it's a cycle. It's a cycle.
No, that's
you find yourself in those cycles, and self-awareness is huge because you can step out of that.
no, that's I think that's huge. I think, people lack the ability to just be humble, like appreciating the opportunity to just wake up and go do what you have to do, whether you work a 9 to 5, whether your schedule is flexible, whether you train, whether you run, or whatever you do, you're a professional athlete, whatever. That's an opportunity of a lifetime that a lot of people in this country in particular don't have. The poverty rate is high. So you're over here saying, I can't wait till the weekend, when somebody is like, well, I can't wait till my next meal. So you have to be humble in the sense of, you've got to appreciate the little things. You can't, and when you say, I can't wait for the weekend, the more and more you place value on things like, going out for the weekend and going to the bar and getting a new fit, the less and less you value yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So you got to be able to put value on things that are of importance. But, at a young age, what do people value? We're two different kinds of people.
Yeah.
In a world full of people that, want to follow the pack. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I'm 22. I haven't met any 22-year-olds like me.
Yeah.
That's sad, but at the same time, that's just the world we live in.
No,
so for me, like, what I focus on is just trying to touch one person, because I know I can't touch every 22-year-old. Not every 22-year-old mentally is where I am.
Yeah.
So just to
nor do they want to be.
Yeah, exactly. Nor do they want to be. Not too many people have an understanding of where they want to be in life. So you gotta just definitely, I think, as men, that have moral compasses and strong character, you just have to be more humble. You've got to show more love. You've got to be more appreciative. You've got to take a step back and realize that, you woke up this morning and you have an opportunity of a lifetime, and a lifetime full of opportunity that other people don't have. So,
What does humble mean to you?
Humble means to me is just, being confident in your ability, but not being arrogant. So not believing that you're better than what you actually are, because people gravitate towards confidence and people gravitate towards a humble man, but there's never been a humble man who has been vain, who has been self-absorbed. You know what I mean? Like someone who's been arrogant. There's never a humble person that's been arrogant. So what humble means to me is just appreciating the little things, knowing your value as a person, an individual, and never disrespecting the path that was set before you. Like a lot of people try to say, oh, I got it on my own. I did this on my own. It's all on me, batting their chest. Everybody got the lion tap.
Yeah.
But, there was a path set before you that you have to respect. Like you can't just cross the line and be like, oh, I did this, I did that. Like, well, it's never really been about you. You didn't notice. Like, it's never really been about one person. It's never been about just you. Like, without your parents, you wouldn't be here. Without guidance, you wouldn't be here, There reaches a point in time where you're making decisions for yourself. Yeah.
Valid.
But prior to that, there are people behind you that, whether you know it or not, are impacting your life. So you got to just be humble in the sense of just appreciating the little things and having
aware of that.
Yeah,
you definitely got to be aware of that. And that's where every time I hear you have to be aware of the fact that the people before you set you on this path. Mm-hmm. Every time I think of that, and I think of how MJ, Kobe, LeBron, Magic, all of these people, mm-hmm. all of these amazing players of their generation will say, I'm not the best. I have to give credit to the people before me. Like without Magic and Bird, who is MJ? Without MJ, who is Kobe? Without Kobe, who is LeBron? And it's like that forever goes on. You don't know where that ends. And it goes back so far to a point where you can't see. You have no recollection of that.
Yeah.
that's where the conscious mind is dangerous, because you can't see it, but you know it's there.
Oh, it's there, yeah.
And we're always trying to put a label to something. We're always trying to understand what it was that started a process.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think anything is a direct start. I don't think there's a starting point for any of this stuff called life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I like the name of this podcast is LT360.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's a circle, right? It's an everlasting. It's never going, like,
It
it's
never ends. It never
stop.
ends.
Yeah, it's just never going to stop. There's always going to be a correlation from the past to the present and the future.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
No, that's for sure. That's 100%. I think something people don't understand is that, yeah, it's a revolving door. You know, history repeats itself. You know,
Yes,
not just
100%.
Yeah, history definitely repeats itself. It's not just, you know, society of different things that change in society that reappear in different ways. It's everything from, you know, the time you were 6 and, you know, the energy you put out, it comes back full circle. Anything you put out there comes back full circle.
Yeah.
I think that's what people don't understand for sure.
No. What do you think? Do you think it's fear that holds people back from understanding that, or do you think it's just lack of conscious awareness?
Like fear that holds people back from
learning that stuff, or from recognizing that it is the case. Because I feel like, right, ignorance is bliss. A lot of people understand these concepts, but a lot of people are fearful to have these conversations. Why?
I think I don't necessarily believe it's fear. I just feel like people don't care enough. People want to go with what's hot all the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, people want to follow the pack. People don't want to be different. People want to fit in. I think people fear being different because they're not leaders. If you look at any leader across the board in history, just take American history, for example. Mm-hmm. Every single leader was different in their own respect, depending on what they represent. You know, if you look at MLK, if you look at Malcolm X, those two, for example, they were polar opposites. One, you know, was like, hey, you know, violence begets more violence, so peace is the answer. And for a period of time, the other was like, well, violence begets more violence, but people respect violence.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, eventually he came around and said, you know, violence isn't the best thing. But in the midst of all that, like in the forefront at the beginning, they were polar opposites. Yeah. You know? And they were different. They were different.
Had amazing impact on people.
Yeah, amazing influence on people.
Do you find it crazy that we learn about MLK in history class and we never learned or talked about Malcolm X?
No, I don't find it crazy because, I mean, here's the thing: the American school system is a business.
Yeah.
So to keep things flowing, you know, you gotta put. I mean, and here's the thing: it's a business, it's a moneymaker, but it's a belief system. You know, if you have a system, you have to have people believing certain things for the system to continue to go on. Let's say you had everybody in high school that was 17, 18 years old was like, well, you know what? The history we've been learning is false. That's just not the case.
Yeah.
You know, you would have a generation of people that would change the landscape of the system.
Everything.
And you don't want that. Here's the thing about systems. You don't want systems to change. You put a system in place so it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So you know, like school and history and all that stuff is great, but you know, it's a system. And for a system to keep going, it can't change. It's just like the criminal justice system. There have been minor changes here and there, but there has to be a system so that people fall in line and the more and more the system shows itself is the more and more it leads to people like wanting to go against it. So you got to just try to keep your system intact. Am I for or against systems? I don't know. It depends on the system.
Yeah, no,
You know?
absolutely.
But
So it's funny that you mentioned the criminal justice system, because
yeah.
I know you work in that line. So like, where now that we're in such a information and technology driven world where people can listen to a podcast like this or go on YouTube and fill their mind with anything, how are they planning to keep these systems in place? And is it even possible?
Um, it's possible to keep any system in place as long as you keep a blind cover over the population's eyes. But like you said, it's such an information driven world where, as a private investigator, I go places where, it's not as technology sound, and people honestly aren't aware of certain things.
Mm,
But with so many more people having access, to technology, to a computer, um, the systems will fail eventually, I believe, because people are going to have more and more information, just rights like amendments.
yeah.
If a police officer is talking to you but they haven't detained you, or you're being questioned and you haven't been read your Miranda rights, and you haven't been placed under arrest, you can invoke your Sixth Amendment right and not speak to them, actually. But most people don't know that.
Yeah, I would have
And the only way for a system to survive is if people don't know. The less and less let's get into actually systems. So in America there was slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, people were getting beaten and killed if they learned how to read. Information is powerful. So if the more and more information, like I just said, the more and more information you have, the more and more freedom you have to be able to have an impact on changing the system. So with that being said, a system can go on the less and less people know, but the more and more people are informed, the worse the system will get, and the more the system will get exposed. That's why, with the advancement of cameras now, everybody's recording everything. So the system getting exposed. Officers are supposed to be world-renowned, class-trained professionals, elite at what they do, elite at speaking, elite at alleviating situations with words. Every 10 minutes, every 7 seconds, somebody's shot in America by a police officer. So now everybody has a cell phone that you could just click record. Now, how do you get around a recording? You can't. That's exposing the system.
Yeah.
See, but without that technological information, you can't expose the system. So the more and more information you have, the less and less the system will be.
So now, do you think the people who are running the system should go after the technology advancements, or should they use the technology advancements to produce the blindness that they want?
I think they have to use the technological advancements to produce the blindness they want. I mean, not everybody is as smart as what you'd like to believe. That's why those words exist: intelligent, smart,
Yeah.
discreet. Those kinds of words exist because not everybody is those words.
It's not an adjective you can use to describe everybody.
To describe everybody. If that was the case, hey, everybody would be rich. Understand what I'm saying? So, they have to use the technological advancements that they've made to continue to have that cover over people's eyes. But education is freedom. That's why they say, educate yourself, self-education. I don't mean go to college and learn how to, sit in a course and be on time. That's not real life. What real life is, managing a checkbook, managing your bills, understanding credit, understanding how missing a credit payment could impact your score negatively, and how if your score is not, where it needs to be, you can't really do much in this world.
Yeah.
Like without credit, you can't do much. So with the technological advances that they've made, they have to keep the blind cover over people's eyes. But people gotta, see through that. I don't know how someone would see through that, but that's something that, has to be figured out.
It's something that I think me and you are both figuring out and trying.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like we talked about earlier, we just different. We two
Yeah.
different people that aren't the same as people that are our age.
Mm.
You know, so
So in 15 years, right, we'll be 36, 37, 38.
yep.
Where do you see yourself, and where do you see the rest of the country?
So in 15 years, where I personally see myself, gotta have at least 2 kids by the time I'm that age. You know, um, I'm working on mapping out where I could build my own home, instead of buying a home that's already, been built. So I want to build my own home in 15 years. You know, I want to have 2 children. I want to have, as far as where society will be in 15 years, I think that eventually, like, there won't be as many people working the jobs that built America. Like, like people for example, tolls. Everybody got Easy Pass now.
Yeah.
People that used to work the tolls were making a lot of money. Like, they're there all night, they're there all day, but now it's a machine. So technology is going to take, in 15 years, technology is going to be, it's so far advanced. We're going to look back at this podcast that we're doing right now and be like, wow, that is not good clarity.
Yeah.
Like the clarity is going to be different.
The clarity between 2K11 and 2K20
is ridiculous. Even just the video games,
that
really aren't of any importance. It's a ridiculous change. Like
2005, I was playing backyard basketball on my PC, Windows 98, and now it's like you can walk around with virtual reality video game going on in your face. Yeah.
Like crazy. Like I remember when I used to play Dreamcast. If you ask an 18-year-old what Dreamcast is right now, I'd be like, what? What's Dreamcast? I never heard of Dreamcast. Like, or even PlayStation 1, like the white PlayStation 1. Where you had to plug it into the system for the controller, where you couldn't sit too far because it would just, so memory sticks. Like it's just the advancement of technology is crazy. So in 15 years, personally, in 15 years, I'll be making a lot of money. I'll probably have a few more degrees. But as far as society goes, I don't know. Hopefully, I feel a change coming. But, that's every generation feels a change coming.
Oh, yeah, everything. So,
it's like you said, history repeats itself. History may repeat itself, but it'll be different, Like, for example, prison systems, they say is modern-day slavery. In 15 years, I don't know if prison systems are going to be the same. There may be something else that takes over.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot more psychological focus.
Like, as far as helping people mentally or?
Intervening, yeah.
Okay.
Intervention while you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already seeing people graduate college when they're in prison.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's 25 years ago. If you said that, people would have looked at you like you were psycho.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
A big part of it, too, is like, are we going to start to change the laws that imprison people?
Mm-hmm.
Because with something as simple as medical marijuana,
mm-hmm.
right? How many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are locked up for something that is now legal?
And now the government is making money off of what they deem to be legal.
Billions of dollars. I mean, billions of dollars in 1 year. Colorado brought in like an insane amount of money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's and on top of that, I think, I don't know, man, like in 15 years, there's so much that can happen on a global
stage,
where like my mind goes so far beyond what's going on in this country, because we're coming into a time where the information and the technology is joining people from all different parts of the world more than ever before, and there's becoming this global awareness And like we talked about earlier, not everyone is aware of this.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone is open to this.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a global awareness of it's not just our system in the United States that's trying to hold us back. It's not just the system in Russia that's trying to hold them back. It's not just the system in Japan that's trying to hold them back, but it's global, right?
Well,
And this global awareness is growing between the people and the populations and the masses, while the systems and the people that are running those systems are trying to stay in their place and make sure that they know what is next. But it's hard to say what 15 years is. That's basically
it's definitely hard to say. I mean, 15 years is such a long time from now.
Because the last time we thought about, 15 years for us, 15 years ago was when we were 8. So there's no real conscious awareness of what can happen on a global scale in 15 years for us.
15 years, yeah.
Yeah.
But all you can do is hope that, people mentally are where they need to be.
Hope, but also try to put as much of that out there to impact those people and to positively bring more awareness to things like that. So
I would agree.
Yeah, no, that's for real. I think we're both doing a great job of that. And like I said, you pushed me to keep doing that, those daily videos, something that I was doing a while ago and I wish I continued to do. And saying I need to get back to it. And I honestly been struggling in the sense of like finding things to talk about. Yeah, and I've said this before too with other people on here, is like I struggle with making a list of things or topics that I want to do and then crossing them off the list. By the time I get to the second one, I added 10 more. And then like I lose focus. Like, damn, I got, so many things I want to talk about, so many things I want to do. And I just lose that ability to bang.
Yeah. I mean, for me, here's the thing. Anything that you ever see me like have on Stand Talks or talk about has never been written down.
That's what's up.
Never any topic. Like, I'll wake up and it hits me. Like, I don't know if that's a gift or a curse or whatever it is.
That's
like,
different.
That's
part of what makes you different.
Yeah, like just the topic comes to mind. Like, or I'll be talking to my friend yesterday. Like, this is interesting. I can elaborate on this. You know what I mean? So it just comes to me. I don't plan anything. I don't like to plan. I think planning leads to failure, depending on what you're planning. But you've got to allow the forces of nature to. Everything comes naturally. If it's for you, it's for you. What's understood doesn't have to be spoken about. So, if I just have an understanding of a variety of topics. Now, I don't want to say I'm the wisest. I have many years to come. But at this age, I definitely would say that mentally I understand a lot of things that a lot of people don't, which is why I think people gravitate towards me.
Yeah, I would totally agree. You're a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of perspective, and I think that's what people are lacking in their own mind, in their own life, and that clarity of waking up and saying, I talked about this yesterday, but I don't think we talked about it enough.
Yeah.
And for you to say, okay, let me elaborate. Most people, the simple lifestyle that they live doesn't allow enough mental clarity for things like that to come up. And that's where I try to lead people, with health and fitness and nutrition and meditation, things of that nature, is when you can get those habits in line and make 80% of your daily choices benefit your ability to handle the 20% of negativity that's in your life, you really get a sense of humbleness. Like, damn, I really do have 80% of my life that is good. I shouldn't be complaining about. And 20%, it's really not that bad because I'm aware that it's only 20%, and I'm aware that I have the tools to get through it. I have the tools to be resilient to that.
Yeah.
But
agree with that.
not everybody, once again, has the knowledge on what to eat, when to eat, how to exercise, why. Why is sleeping good? People don't even know.
No, yeah.
Right? Like,
That's
people just
true.
know that 7 to 8 hours is what they've been told their whole life. But when you're a kid, you always ask why, why. And as adults, when kids ask why, you get heated. You're like, because I told you so,
So, yeah.
right? But then that leads to a 14, 15, 16-year-old who was never told why sleep is important, and he doesn't understand, maybe even as an athlete, that working out and practicing for 4 hours a day is just going to ruin your body and put you at a higher increase of injury if you don't get the sleep. But he was never told why sleep was important, so he doesn't see it as that. He just sees it as, I was told this is the rule. I'm a 16-year-old badass. I ain't going to listen.
Exactly.
And then you get a 22, 23, 24-year-old who gets out of college. Now they're trying to manage a full-time job. They're trying to manage all the emotions of not looking forward to the weekend with their friends because they don't have the money to do so.
Mm-hmm.
They got bills over their head. They don't know how to pay bills. They don't know what a credit score is. They don't know how to get their car fixed if something goes wrong. And all of a sudden, sleep goes out the window, and they don't care. They don't know why it was important in the first place, so they don't make it a priority.
Exactly.
And then you wake up in the morning, and if you're not well rested, shit, you don't want to work out.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to eat right.
Eat right, yeah.
That's one of them cycles that we was talking about, and that's why I think we can change the minds of the people who are our age and older.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely takes more work, especially after 30 years old. If somebody's mindset isn't exposed to stuff like this,
Mm-hmm.
they have such a wall built up against it, like, nah, it's not
Yeah.
coming in. But if we can get into the school systems and start to teach kids from a young age, not just what to do, but why.
Why?
Because that's what they want to know anyways.
Exactly. That's what they want to know anyways, And the essence of questioning is just powerful. Like, you should never not ask questions. Like,
Yes.
Like, just always ask questions, always try to inform yourself. But, like we said, the system is just meant for you not to ask questions. Oh, okay, I'm gonna call the police. They'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Like, what? Oh, man, that's a conversation for a different day because I know we don't have much time left. But that's just, like, ignorance is so bliss that people don't even ask questions when things don't make sense. They're just like, oh, okay, I'm just going to try to make sense of something that doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Like,
It's crazy. People really, because it's out of their comfort zone. They'd rather, because what are you taught in school? You're taught to listen and then
sit down.
Yeah.
Ask the bathroom.
So, like, do I want to interrupt something and intervene to ask a question that I may be judged by the people around me for? Nah, hell no. Because in the school system, you're that kid. Exactly. Right? And nobody wants to be that kid. Nobody wants to stick out. When you're in school, to be a part of the masses is cool.
But there it goes with that system too. Kids are a reflection of their parents. So, when kids are making fun of other kids or, that's as bad as it sounds. Well, not as bad as it sounds, but as much as you don't want to believe it, they're a reflection of their parents' political ideals, ideologies, and just themselves as a person.
The way they get treated when they wake up in the morning.
Is exactly how they're gonna treat others because they've normalized certain behaviors. Normalization is impactful, and I think it's dangerous. Very dangerous.
We're habitual, right? We're habitual beings.
Yeah.
Right, the most powerful book I ever read was The Power of Habit. I read it my junior year of school, of college at LaSalle, bro. And it changed my perspective on everything, bro.
You're gonna have to send me that, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It was really the first book, like mental, a book having to do with mentality that I ever just sat down and decided to read. And the reason I got into reading was from listening to podcasts of people that talked about, improving mental health and things of that nature, and just business, mindset, all of that stuff. And everybody, and people in my business, people that I've been around for the last 4 or 5 years, always like, hey, what books are you reading? Have you read this? You should read this. Entrepreneurs and CEOs, they read every day. And I just started to see that. I was like, okay, there's a reason everybody's
talking about it.
Yeah. So I'm going to do it. And I picked up that book. It's The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Changed my life, bro. It made me so aware of everything that I did and why I was doing it. And if there was something I didn't like, how to go about changing it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, even if they do realize, all right, this is not what I want to change it up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how. They don't know how the psychology of changing a habit works.
Exactly.
And that opened my eyes to that, and it's made me a better fitness coach. It's made me a better, personal trainer, athletic trainer, nutrition coach, business partner. Anything that I do in my life, it's definitely helped. I'm gonna send you the picture of that or a link to it.
Yeah, definitely send me that for sure, 100%.
Yeah. But I got one more question for you.
Yes, sir.
Well, 2 more, but one more during this topic right here. What is your biggest driving force for not being average and continuing to talk about stuff in the social aspect and like social activism world?
I think it's just empowering people is my driving force. I'm not in it for the money. Of course, money is important, but I don't do it to get a bag or to get on a stage where everybody's looking at me. That would be nice, but that's not what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it for the empowerment of somebody else. Like, if somebody could, if I say I were to pass away drastically, God forbid, I would want at least one person in the world to be like, you know what, like, he really made me believe in myself. Like, he really touched me. He really impacted my life. Like, that day he made me smile. That's all I care about. I don't really care about the money, the fame. It's not, that's of no importance. That's not value. What I value is real, like love, compassion, empowerment, like feelings, like getting in touch with somebody else mentally. Those are the things I value, and that's my driving force.
I love that. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Impacting one person at the least.
At the very least, like.
And the more you come from a real place, the more people will genuinely gravitate towards you. Exactly. And that's when you put yourself in a position to be on stage and be impacting masses. I think that's an amazing driving force, man. Is there anything from your sports career in high school that made you much more mentally aware of what's going on in your head and much more mentally resilient to the things that are coming up in your life now?
Yeah, even college sports, but yeah, just going back to high school, yeah. A particular situation that happened my senior year, coaches preach about seniority and, seniors are what the driving force of, any high school sports team is, because they have the most experience.
Mm-hmm.
They have their body.
That goes for any level, right? Yeah. Like in the pros, you got vets in college and senior, high school, senior, middle school, and 8th grade versus a 6th grader. It's all the same, yeah.
Your body's more mature. Mentally, you're supposed to be more mature, So throughout my years in high school, I spent my second year, I played quarterback a little bit. My third year is when I really started picking it up, working out every day. And then my senior year, it was my time to be the starting quarterback. So I played about 5 or 6 games, got hurt. And throughout the whole time, we went we were undefeated, but we lost one game in the 6 games, so we were 5-1 when I got hurt. And throughout that, you hear chatter like, "Oh well, there's a younger kid that's much better. This, that's that." But we were winning.
Yeah.
So I wasn't understanding why everybody wanted someone else to play when we were winning. And I felt that the coaches had abandoned their word. And as a man, when all you have in life is your word. Like your word carries weight. Words have carried history. So, they gave me their word that, this was my team. This is, I'm the leader of the team. And, teammates began whispering. There just began to be whispers. And, I got hurt, and that was their opportunity to put in a quarterback who was a sophomore who they felt would help us win at a greater rate. I didn't understand that. But it helped give me the mental fortitude to understand that life is about politics, and that was my first little taste of, that position historically has been played by a white male.
Mm.
And I'm in a town where, it's predominantly white people, but the high school was diverse.
Gotcha.
There were a lot of Black people at the high school. Most of the standout athletes were Black. A lot of people in my high school were Black. So that was my first taste of understanding of politics and how words and people saying things are empty, and it helped shape me in the sense of when I came to college, I had a chip on my shoulder, understanding that if people don't like you, you won't go far in life.
Mm.
People have to like you. People have to know certain things about you. Like people have to, everything in life is political, I think. And that's what made me understand my college basketball career, is that it's political.
Mm.
Like it's cliquey.
Yeah.
But I was coming from a place in high school where I was the man. Even on the football field before I got hurt, I was the man. On the basketball court, I was the man. And then coming to a school where, where I'm looking at people that I'm just like, this kid is nowhere. Even kids that were seniors, juniors, I'm looking at them like, these kids will never be better than me. Like if you put them in my environment, if we take them to Boston, we take them to a park, they would just crumble.
Yeah.
Like, under the pressure, like it's a different environment. And I'm looking like, okay. So yeah, I mean, college sports and high school sports definitely help shape my mental fortitude and understanding that life is political and certain things you can't take personally, but you don't want to abandon who you are just to fit in. Like there came a point where, not to mention any names, but there were particular seniors that guys were hanging around with or trying to be cool with to make a team, and that just wasn't me.
Gotcha.
So I think that played a big role in why my first year I had to leave the situation as far as the basketball team, because I didn't fit in. Like I wasn't gonna do what other kids were doing. Like I wasn't gonna hang out with you and act like I was cool with you when I know you probably don't like me for any reason, that's out of my control.
Yeah.
So that just gave me the mental capacity to understand that evaluation of oneself and understanding who you are and never abandoning who you are for the purposes of monetary gain. College basketball wasn't that important for me to just sacrifice who I was as a man to fit in, because in all honesty, I could have went D1 for football. I chose to come here because I chose that being a professional athlete wasn't going to be my route.
Yeah.
So, it just helped me understand that you can't abandon who you are. Don't ever abandon who you are to please others or to appease a coach or to, you know what I mean? So when I saw guys that, were doing things like, sticking it out, and I respect that, but you're not going to tell me that my value is less when there are guys on the court that their value is less than mine. You understand what I'm saying? So I wasn't with all that. So
the value of their own value of themselves is far less than your value of yourself.
exactly.
Yeah, I feel that. And it's crazy because you bring it to mind. I played at Anna Maria.
Mm-hmm.
Barely scraped myself off the floor to get on that team. The reason I got there, I mean, the first 3-4 weeks, like almost the first whole month that I was trying to be on that team, kids was ruthless, bro. Every time I was tiny compared to everybody. And I just hustled my ass off. Like, that was all I did. I was quiet and I hustled my ass off. And tossed, like, people, I'd box somebody out straight, toss me completely out of bounds, like onto my side, not even on my feet no more. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? You don't deserve this. Like, you don't deserve a fucking jersey. You're trash. Heard that all the time, all day. Then I decided to leave that school for education purposes. And I came to LaSalle the first year you were there too.
Yep.
And I didn't get chosen to be on the team as someone who was on the team or a practice player.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up living with who then became to be the next captain.
The next guy, yeah.
The next captain, right? And that was because I played with him in high school. We knew each other. We lived with each other even when they were on the team and I wasn't. So then, I'm friends with Pat and Bevy and we're living with each other. And then all of a sudden I go back my second year and I'm like, listen, I'm going to try this again.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's almost like because I was with them, I was put in a position to have a practice jersey, to have at least a chance to be associated with the team. And it's crazy. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Like, I was around people that were known. I was around people that were the guys, right? The up and coming.
Yeah, the up and coming, yeah.
So then all of a sudden I get put in that position. And then people fail off, and all of a sudden I have a jersey, and then it's crazy that you bring it to light like that. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I was aware of that when I was 17, 18, 16.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not here to be disrespectful to anyone. Basketball is over. If I want to get in shape and bust anybody's ass, we can do that any day. But even back then, everybody understood what I brought to the court, which was a little bit of everything, passing, defense, shooting. I know I wasn't excellent at any one particular thing, but I was good at every little thing.
That's how I viewed myself.
So
I don't know if that's the case, but that's how I view myself. I'm definitely not good at anything in particular. I know I can't shoot for shit.
Yeah.
But I'll hustle my fucking ass off, and my basketball IQ is through the roof. That's what I play on. That's how I get by.
I hear you 100%. But that second year, I felt it even more political than my first year, because Logan became captain, and it was just, I just never understood how basketball, where I came from, had always been a sport the best player will play. My coach was pulling up freshmen for cats that was seniors that wasn't
yeah.
You know what I mean? That wasn't cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the basketball team where I'm from was very competitive. Like, you had to, you know what I mean? The best player is going to play. I don't care if you're 18. That doesn't really matter to me, and then I got to college, and I'm like, the best player isn't playing here. This is political. So I had to take a step back, and I was like, you know what? This isn't really my kind of thing. Yeah.
And now you're in a place where you're on a different path. You're doing way bigger and better things than you might have imagined yourself 4 or 5 years ago doing. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I always had the vision. I didn't know that in particular I was going to be a PI, but it was in the back of my head, for sure. But now I'm in a position where I can actually conduct an investigation, a thorough one, on anybody I'd like to at LaSalle College. So, I mean, it's funny how the tables turn. Yeah, it's funny how the tables turn, and I could just, flip the script real quick and become the kind of person that uses, animosity, retribution, and revenge. But it's not
That's
that.
not you.
That's not that. It was never that serious.
Yeah. That's what's up, though. I love that. It's funny. I feel like I got that in the Lion King. I went and saw the Lion King, the live action one the other day.
Yeah.
He said Simba was like saying to Mufasa, he said, "Yo, so you're the king and like you can do whatever you want." And Mufasa said something along the lines of like being king and having power, like the power of being that powerful is that you choose to do good with it.
Exactly.
Along those lines. And I don't remember what the exact quote is, but yeah, it's so true. But where can everybody find you and dive into your world? I gotta wrap up here because I got a client.
Man, everybody could get at me. You know what I'm saying? Follow Stan Talks on IG. FreeGame podcast coming real soon. Be on the lookout for the previews and personal blogs about specific topics and what people have DM'd me and asked me about, and I'll get to it. But Stan Talks on IG. Follow that. Stan Talks on Facebook is coming soon, and Twitter. So
Cool.
Be on the lookout for that.
Okay. Word. All right, my last question.
Yes, sir.
Top 5 people, dead or alive, that you could have a 30-minute conversation with.
Top 5 people.
Top 5 people, dead or alive, that you could have a 30-minute conversation with.
Dead or alive that I could have a conversation with. LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have a conversation with Malcolm X. I'd like to have a conversation with Dr. Sebi.
Ooh.
I'd like to have a conversation with I think John Quincy Adams, if he's not the first president or he's the second. Or the third. He's in the top 5.
I was gonna say George Washington's the first.
Yeah, I know, right? And my fifth is Jesus Christ when he was on planet Earth. I'd like to have a conversation with him.
That's real.
Yeah, that's my top 5 right there.
That's probably the quickest top 5 I've gotten so far. So that's real. I like that. LeBron, Malcolm X, Dr. Sebi, John Quincy Adams, and Jesus. That's crazy, man. That's real. A lot of people I found were falling into the trap of thinking of people that are alive. And I said dead or alive, and it's like dead people goes a long way back. There's a lot of people you can talk to.
Exactly.
But bro, this was a blast. I know we'll definitely do this again. I'm looking forward to hopping on that FreeGame podcast when you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, just be on the lookout for that, man. It's coming real soon.
We got a lot of collaboration to talk about. Me, you, and Mark should hop on the phone again soon too.
Yeah, for sure. I would love that, bro.
Yeah, we always had good conversation. But thank you again. Appreciate you, your time, your message, all of it. Thank you for pushing me to continue to get these messages out here too. So.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. I mean, I appreciate you for having me. You know what I'm saying? You've also been a push as well. I appreciate the content. Keep pushing it out.
Thanks.
Keep doing your thing regardless of what anybody says, bro.
I don't think I have a problem with that.
That's
All right.
a fact, bro.
All right, everybody. Don't forget to check out my man Stan. Stan Talks, FreeGame podcast coming soon. All right? In the meantime, be limitless. Peace.
All right, Brody.
Please, y'all, if you were able to take anything from today's podcast, please share it with your friends, family, and anybody looking to live that free and limitless lifestyle. Or you could even write a review or leave a comment down below for us. It'll be greatly appreciated. I'm also looking to partner with the best of the best in the brands and services that are going on in these industries that I'm discussing here with guests, and I believe we have some. So please go check them out and support them whenever possible. You will not be disappointed. Psych. Today we're not going to talk about partners, y'all. I want to get real. I just want to be straight up with y'all. I'm coming from Rhode Island right now. I've been up here all weekend, and I've been spending time with family and went to a wedding and just walked around the city yesterday. Nothing but good vibes. And since we talked about, spending time with people that are real, genuine in your life and that push you to be better, that don't play no more games, and that just quite honestly are looking to grow every day. They have that growth mindset. I want you to partner up with those people. Those are the people that we need in our lives. And I think Stan would agree, and I think all of the listeners of the Limitless Theory community could agree on that. So instead of boring y'all with some partners, I want to say thank you guys for partnering up with me and for being a part of my life. And let's continue to build this community. Let's continue to get good people around us that, quite frankly, are only worried about growth and getting better and improving day after day, because that's all it comes down to. And long story short, we don't have that much time. We don't have enough time to play with people that aren't on that same journey. So, with that being said, just have a great rest of your Sunday, and go Pats. We on the staircase to 7. All right, y'all. Peace out. Much love.